Look around you and strip away the invisible, silent power you take for granted. Imagine a reality where the silent spark was never harnessed, and our mastery of energy fades to nothing. The immediate reality of that alternate world is physically overwhelming. Every factory floor relies on the deafening roar of steam engines. The air is choked with the smell of burning coal. The civilization we built is loud, heavy, and desperate. Look at the massive iron boiler and the heavy wheels in this historical image. Without electric motors, generating any kind of meaningful force means relying entirely on overwhelming physical mass. Notice the sheer scale and the interlocking teeth of these industrial gears. You cannot push a button and send power across a room through a wire. Transferring energy requires violent, heavy physical connections. And feeding those interlocking mechanical systems requires millions of tons of raw rock. Thick plumes of smoke over coal piles reveal the immediate consequence of generating power entirely through combustion. Pop culture sometimes paints this aesthetic, styling it as a polished, brass-fitted fantasy. The reality of relying strictly on steam and iron is far grimier. It means remaining forever tethered to the dirt. Humanity survived, but we are permanently held back by the physical limits of our own hands, and the heavy, grinding reality of a purely mechanical existence. That physical weight also acts as a prison for the mind. Without electrons, we lose the entire realm of what we might call the unborn logic. We never learn to command particles to calculate or remember. There are no smooth silicon chips or quiet diodes. Our only tools to translate thought into automated action are clumsy mechanical levers. Look closely at this densely layered brass clockwork. To make a machine process even a simple calculation without electricity, you have to carve the logic physically into hyper-fragile turning wheels. You quickly hit a strict physical wall. You cannot scale those turning wheels into a complex computer. Long before a mechanical device can process complex data, it becomes impossibly massive, paralyzed by the friction of its own components. As a result, information requires physical space. Memory isn't held in a hard drive. It remains trapped entirely in ink ledgers and human flesh. Because we cannot build a mind out of wire and light, the ultimate ceiling for human computation is permanently fixed by what our hands can physically craft. This lack of an invisible network also enforces a cruel tyranny over geography. Distance is an absolute dictator. This photograph of an early steam locomotive shows the sheer iron mass required to cross land. Information cannot separate from a physical carrier. A message travels only as fast as a machine like this can haul it. This makes the world terrifyingly vast. If you leave your hometown to work in a neighboring territory, you are completely cut off. There are no instant updates. Stepping past the horizon means vanishing into the void. This diagram maps a ship's route across the Atlantic Ocean, tracking a visual timeline that shows it takes multiple weeks for a single envelope to bridge 2 continents. Information travels no faster than the wind and waves allow. We take for granted that a voice can be carried across the globe in a fraction of a second. Here, a voice travels exactly as far as a human shout. The lack of invisible communication waves means we cannot maintain a unified global society. Instead, we are a collection of localized communities, each separated by the weeks it takes for news to travel across the map. But the ultimate boundary in this world isn't measured in miles. It is measured by the setting sun. When evening comes, there is no flick of a switch to keep the streets vibrant. Nightfall is a massive, impenetrable wall that forces daily life to stop entirely. Look at this image of candlelight. Pushing back the darkness means relying entirely on the dim, flickering, and highly dangerous light of gas lamps and isolated open flames. Every evening, a heavy, collective exhaustion settles over our cities as the lack of an artificial sun brings meaningful human activity to a grinding halt. This planetary diagram illustrates the Earth's nightward side. Without the glowing web on an electric grid, the darkness is only broken by faint, isolated speckles of orange light, scattered coal fires fighting a losing battle against the night. Without an artificial sun to reliably push back the shadows, human agency effectively We built a magnificent empire of iron and steam, but we remained forever exiled from the light.